Empty Space is a game of space exploration and essentially two races to the exoplanet of the same colour as your probe and rocket ship at the end of the game. In the game, you will be using coloured cards to perform various actions, including change the map, peek at the map, and of course move. You also need to, in this current build, exchange 4 of the same colour to buy your probe and then your rocket. So let's just say that I have bought a red rocket here. On my turn, I can pick up cards. Here is a wild, which will be quite useful. It counts as any colour. And here is a black hole. I reveal 2 more, and then I can play cards. The black holes can be laid on top of another card to create a block for someone. If someone else was, for example, here, that black hole would create a block for them. You can move for free onto your colour of cards, but you have to pay a card for another colour. Well, seeing as I'm pretty much covered for any eventuality here, I'm going to move onto the first card. So I turn it round and it is blue. I don't have a blue, so I can use my wild card to pay for that. Then if I moved again, I simply flip over, and joy is a red, so I can move there for free. Now I do have a yellow, so I can also move there and discard the yellow. So as you go, more of the map gets revealed. Once you get to the exoplanet of your colour, you can then buy your rocket, and you go through the same process, but this time much of the map is revealed. The map does not have to be set up in this kind of 4x7 way. It can be set up in a variety of ways. And the game revolves around making the best moves for you whilst trying to block your opponents from doing the same. Empty Space is a ultimately very simple game that operates really well for families. I'll be honest, when I read the rules, I didn't think there was much there. And there are a couple of rules I have issue with that I've spoken to Peter, the designer, and his daughters about, and actually they're rules that they are thinking of changing anyway. To be fair, we just house ruled them. Specifically, they are having to spend 4 cards to buy your probe. I just found it held up the start of the game, and although it works as a nice catch-up mechanic when someone has reached their exoplanet, having to get 4 cards of the same colour to then buy their rocket, I found it was much better that we played that they had to do that until someone else got to a planet. Then everyone could just get their rockets at that point. Or if you've got more players, you know, there's a lesser card requirement the more players have got their probes to their planets. The game actually plays really well. It's like a kind of Ticket to Ride variant with less complicated route finding, because you're a bit more free in using the cards singly rather than saving up groups to play your routes. And the double races actually feel very different. The first one you're kind of exploring, you're going slowly, but you're keeping in mind that you're going to have to go back through this track or a slightly different one later on. When you play with your family, it tends to be a bit of a nicer affair with younger children, but the black holes and the ability to change the course really makes it a game that you can play as a opening game or a filler game for game groups too, because there's an opportunity to be really nasty to each other, using the black holes, using cards to switch out the routes to make it more in your favour, trying to get a run of cards that are the same colour as your ship or probe so you can just go straight up there. But changing the route is a risk because you don't know what cards your opponents have. So I think there's a really good game at the core of here. There's a couple of house rules that I made to suit my family, but for other people, they might enjoy the feeling of having to earn and buy your ship. I know it's certainly something that's been looked at. So if you're looking for a good family game that can also be used on game groups nights, especially if you've got the type of group who likes to be nasty to each other, it is well worth checking out the Kickstarter for Empty Space Explorer. It comes with a number of pledges that you can pick up at various prices depending on whether you want the game in like a bag or a box and that sort of thing. The link for the Kickstarter will be down below, and thank you once again as always for watching Board Deck and Dice. We'll see you next time.